And we're good to go.
And I think we're live.
Okay, let me check over.
I didn't announce this to literally anybody, so I don't know who's gonna actually. I don't know who's actually gonna show up to watch this.
I have faith people will show.
Welcome back, FUD Nation.
Welcome back, FUD Nation.
Oh, I just got a notification that CryptoCandor has gone live.
Hey, look it! Check me out.
Yeah, because I do have you guys on. I do have you guys on that, but I'm gonna turn my phone off right now. Just waiting for my group to come in because I literally didn't tell anybody that I was going live. So what's up, people?
I actually messaged the CryptoZombie group maybe 3 hours ago.
Nice.
You're live.
Very cool. Yeah, I think we're live on my end. I think I'm all good too. Sweet. So what's going on, friends?
Well, can we start off with something non-crypto related?
Shoot.
Sure.
I just wanted to let everybody know out there that I cannot stand wearing these headphones. So I specifically went out of my way to buy the AirPods. Turns out that they don't work with OBS Studio, which is what I need to stream. So now I'm wearing these again, and I bought headphones basically for no reason.
Yep, I asked for those for my birthday for the same reason, got them, and then realized that I couldn't use them. So I actually posted in the OBS, because it's an open source project, so there's nobody that like runs it. So I posted in their forum to see if it is a possibility, if we're just dumb and we don't know what we're doing, or if there is any, you know, maybe they'll develop it or make it for us, but we'll see.
Yeah, if you guys ever need anything done instantly, just talk to Alex, because I was having issues with the Brave browser, and so was she. And my logic is like, well, screw it. I'll wait for them to fix it. So I turned off the Brave browser. I opened up my Google Chrome. She's like, no. And she literally emails Brave browser and is like, these are the problems that we're having. And they literally fixed it. Like, can you imagine?
I don't like putting stuff off because then it bothers me. So like if something's not right and I think I can probably fix it, I'll just investigate. And then if I can't, I can't, and I'm done. But if I can fix it, or like for Kyle, we can figure out a better way to do something, then why not?
Yeah, especially the only downside, though, is that I don't have the ability to share my screen really right now, which is the one thing I do wish I could kind of do a little more of on the channel when we do these live streams.
You can through this.
Oh, I can. Oh, that is true. I can. But then on my end, it only shows my screen, I think.
Yeah, so it'll all be our beautiful faces and then your screen.
So I was going through some of my old research type stuff. Let's see if I could do this. I want to show you something really funny. No, I can't. Wait, share.
Click share screen. See it?
Yeah, it's going to show some stuff on my backdrop, but it doesn't really matter. Look at this diagram. Can you guys see this? That blockchain Brad used to draw it. He used to do this by hand when he used to do his research. Look at his drawing of the connection of ontology to the Neo universe. Like, look at this ontology trust system.
That's like really good though.
Makes business possible. Buffer into on-chain. Then from on-chain, you have the connection to enterprise council, private. Oh, look at this permission, hyper ledger. It's insane. Neo ID, Neo asset. I mean, this guy's hardcore, man. He is definitely the reason why I got into this. I mean, if this isn't devotion, I don't know what it is.
No,
so.
he's
awesome. Looks like a white paper drawing. He should go in the white paper advisory. That drawing should definitely be front and center.
Yeah, that's a marketing material right there.
Oh, definitely. So what is everybody doing in these horrible, horrible markets?
Creating content, lots of it. Not sleeping, more content.
It's really difficult. What's up, BitBoy Crypto? I see you all the time in the group, bro. Yeah, it's definitely super tough because, you know, and obviously everybody wants to talk about the money, but there's not a lot of money being made right now. And even the ICO scene is getting kind of crazy right now where you're seeing people just like, I don't even want to touch them, you know, and they used to be like the safe haven, like, oh yeah, get in the ICO, you're going to get 5, 10x, and people don't even want to get in ICOs right now.
Well, the problem is because the market's so beat that even the good ICOs that might be coming out aren't doing what the kind of market movement that they used to do. You know, it was almost like a sure thing with certain projects, and now we're seeing that that's not the case, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think
I personally price declines. I find it sort of soothing. It gives you time to figure out what's my strategy. And KDubb, you know this. I'm just purely focused on ICOs, and the website's really focused on education content, ICOs. When Bitcoin's hitting 20,000, no one was paying attention to these altcoin projects. And I really feel that the altcoin projects are pushing the envelope in terms of innovation. So stable Bitcoin allows I think the general audience to focus on these ICOs.
I agree.
Yeah, unfortunately though, the ICOs were being fueled by unstable Bitcoin and by the real rise in Bitcoin. That's where the ICO money was coming from, was from a huge Ethereum swell and a huge Bitcoin swell. So that's like why ICOs were selling out 5-10xing right off the bat. And you know, it's definitely a complex. It's an interesting dimension that we've entered into with so many futures markets now. I think is the real I think change here is that there's ways to profit off the market no matter which way it goes. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a different way to look at it, but futures are kind of where anyone who's really making money right now is making their money.
Well, assuming that they're playing it right. But, you know, I mean, as far as that goes, a lot of people got really super excited because Ethereum, Ether, you know, they were going to start doing futures or whatever they were going to do. And I don't know. I mean, look what it did to Bitcoin. Like, the thing is everybody was like, when is the institutional money coming in? When is it coming in? And it came in, and it came in all over the counter. And it came in all like outside in futures, and it came in all with VCs into these ICOs. So we didn't really see it, you know, like we were so excited and it didn't come in the way that we thought it was really going to come in, I guess. It's here, it's just hiding. So
I don't think it's really being traded like a real commodity yet. You have a small fraction of people who have taken nibbles, but I don't think like the big bags have come in yet at all. I think the volume is a testament to that. It's you know, and yeah, the futures, I think people are making crazy gains on the futures. I know that the members of this FUD team are doing really great on futures. And so it's so risky though, that it's hard to preach about futures because it requires such technical analysis, and it's so short term that if I put out an episode 2 hours from now, it could be irrelevant. So it's just tough to make content based on futures.
I mean, if I don't know anything about futures, like nothing at all.
You basically just predict what Bitcoin is going to be, and you don't actually buy Bitcoin. I mean, that's like the simplest explanation. It's all cash. It's all, you know, it's not.
It's just simply fueled for income and for making money. I mean, there's no accumulation or anything like that.
It's basically a bet on the price movement of Bitcoin. It's a derivative financial instrument. Modern finance has all sorts of scaffolding. So there's not essentially just stocks and equities and bonds, but a whole set of synthetic instruments that people use to figure out where to park their money, essentially. Bitcoin futures are a contentious issue just because when those futures expire, there's all sorts of instances going to move.
Yeah, futures are just I didn't hear what you finished off there, but
you got kind of got cut off at the end there.
Oh, I said my piece. Hopefully, it's all right.
Yeah, futures are just a derivative product, so people are just betting. It doesn't affect. Well, it does affect the price because the reality of what's happening right now is the most money being made, period, is being made by the owners of BitMEX and their perpetual futures. And if you see those crazy liquidations, it's like if you total them up, the amount of money that the BitMEX organization is raking in on a daily basis is staggering. It is frightening. And that's just cash liquidations off the table. This isn't like, you know, increases in holdings or decrease. It's just straight liquidations being taken. And so they have so much money on these exchanges that when they have an account that's this, they're like, if we bump the price by 0.2%, we'll liquidate $100 million. So they go to their Bitfinex account and bump the price and either sell. And it's not nice, but that's I guess BitMEX mafia is the term I use, but that's really, especially at these times of low volume, it's like so easy to manipulate. So and they have more power with their capital the lower the price goes. So it's kind of a really unfortunate moment we're in, where until we get another swell of retail interest, those futures markets are really just going to be, and they're making money whether it goes up or goes down. And I think that's sort of what people don't realize.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. My biggest concern is what's everybody that's watching these videos doing? What are, you know, you guys out there, everybody out there watching? I mean, I know we're all invested, so, you know, good and dandy for those guys, but, you know, how are we going to survive? And I think for us, we have to really start being more critical with these. I think the old model of the whole ICO thing of like buying in and just instantly getting a 10x and whatever, I don't think it's going to work the way that it used to unless you're getting in on these super, super early private sales, you're getting in on seed rounds or something like that. But outside of that, I think people have to really just start picking better projects. And unfortunately, we're getting a lot more critical on what we're going to start investing in. You know what I'm saying? Because even with stuff like I've had a few people talk about Zebi on this channel so far, you know, and I have no problem admitting that I had spoken about Zebi because in my opinion, I had seen Zebi almost as India's icon in a sense, you know. But, you know, you have these market conditions, plus you have the fact that no one's actually willing to give these people time to establish their relationships. It's crypto. If you're not like, if you don't go from ICO to like a full-blown Google in like a month, you're like, I don't care. I'm going to sell it. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because that's not how the real world works. I mean, these companies that we all know today, these ones that are on our, you know, our Netflix or Google or Amazon or all those ones that we always talk about, it didn't happen in like a month or 2 months. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of trial and error. And I'll tell you what, I download iOS updates on my phone and I still have to get the bugs out on the software update. They're still not perfect. They still don't have it right. So when people are complaining about EOS, it's like, I get it. It was a $4 billion. I get it. They should have done it right. But at the same time, like, it doesn't matter how much money you put into this. There's going to be a bug. There's going to be something wrong with it. And I think that we really need to just pay more attention on the guys out there that, like, I know we were talking about looking at the teams, but like really seriously, like, what is the experience? What is the objective? And if you're going to get into an ICO, how much are they? What is is it a $15 million ICO or is it a $100 million ICO? Do they need that much? You know, and I think we're going to start looking at more of these signs, or else we're just going to keep losing money. People are just going to keep losing money.
It has a lot to do with the fact, too, that we have to, you know, at least from my perspective, like, I was never involved in stocks. I was never involved in the normal financial market. So when I got into crypto, although I understood that these extreme swings were unrealistic and totally didn't happen in any other place besides crypto, you get accustomed to that. And that's because that's the way it is. So when we see ICOs and we get involved and people flip them and they're getting a 10X, or we have projects coming out that, like Icon, that are promising to basically reinvent the wheel, everybody gets very excited about the money or excited about the tech or excited about whatever it might be, and people don't realize, like you said, Google didn't happen overnight. You know, Facebook, all of these things, they were all built on years and years of trial and error and time. And we're so new into crypto. There's so much more time needed for these projects to be successful, and that's the biggest problem. You know, like you said, 30 days, they flip it. If it doesn't turn into Google, then nobody's interested anymore, and it's a shame. Because, like, you know, the saying is, what is it? The tech didn't change overnight, so why is everybody selling the project still? That's kind of, you know, that's what we have to move away from.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. I just wanted to say real quick, I'll be really quick on this one. I just wanted to say that, like, these maximalists, and it's not even Bitcoin maximalists. I mean, that's just a totally different camp. I don't really about that. I just mean these people that are just like, there can be only one. I don't agree with that. I think there's multiple use cases for multiple blockchains, for multiple partnerships, and I don't think we need one blockchain to rule the whole world. I think we can have plenty of different applications for plenty of different projects. So, sorry, Elliot.
I agree with you 100%, KDubb.
Yeah, and obviously Bitcoin maximalism is a term that has an extreme connotation, but in the end, you know, as the market has shown its correction really back to the log. If you go to the log scale of the Bitcoin chart, it's just correcting back in a way that it has typically before, and you know, ideally, you know, for all of us, it'll take an upswing after that. But really, Bitcoin is the one that everyone wants to use. So it's sort of like Bitcoin's still, unfortunately, not quite ready. We have Lightning's really starting to get up and running now, and Scaling's in the we're like right here on the brink of it. But we're still like the one that people really want to use. Has not quite shown its resilience yet, and its ability to stack up to a whole global use case. And so I think as we look into it, I always compare it to, where's our iPhone? Where's our Facebook? Where's our Netflix? Where's the things that, yeah, you needed Wi-Fi before, you needed internet before, but did you need it? Did you need it like you need it with Netflix? Did you need it when you, like you did with your apps, like when you need it? And so it's just a question of, you know, what are the things that are going to be compulsive? I think one of the best use cases I've seen that I think, you know, if we're talking about decoupling, like what are the coins that are capable of causing even a decoupling, right? And it goes back to what you're saying, KDubb, about experience, that thing that has nothing to do. And I would actually argue that Ontology is already decoupled for reasons of its financing. And if you look at the price and the fluctuations of Ontology, I'd argue that it's fairly decoupled. Obviously, it has down days with the market as well, but its price doesn't fluctuate nearly the way other coins do. And I was looking at Loom Network. I really like what they're doing. I think that their approach is great. And I think their use case around this new Hearthstone sort of clone game, the zombie card game. There have been very few real card collector games. And what they're doing, I think, is very much so a use case that's targeted at a younger generation that I could see really catching on. And it has just nothing to do with anything but a game that I think could go mega viral. So
what do you think about the irony of them being in the blockchain space and deciding to raise funds with Kickstarter as opposed to an ICO, though? Do you think
fundamental with the way that they provide introductory resources, and they started with Ethereum, and yeah, I think it's, you know, I could judge it both ways. You know, I've had a history of rolling out products, and I will tell you that when you have a product and investors and a team, and they're a company that dates back before they actually turned indie to, you know, scramble a few eggs to make an omelet type of thing.
You're making me hungry. It's 7 p.m. in LA, and I really want some dinner. To go back to your comment about Loom in the Kickstarter, I think it's pragmatic. These developers, they can take Ethereum or any other crypto, but as soon as they sell it, people are thinking they're just dumping. They're not believing in their project. So what do you do if you need to feed some mouths, the people who work for you? They need to put some food on the table. So I can see it both ways, fiat versus Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I also think where we are with ICOs right now, we're kind of at this precarious point where there are honestly too many projects. How many of them are great projects? If you're an investor, and we've shifted the onus of being a venture capitalist down to the retail investor, this has never been done before, where the average Joe has to really think like a venture capitalist. How do I sift through project A or project C? Which is better? Where do I get my advice from, and where do I park my money? I think that's a very difficult thing to shift over to kind of the average retail investor. And you know, channels like all of yours are trying to inform you know, your audiences of how to be smarter about trading and looking into the industries and really evaluating this. So the more information that we can provide, the better. I just think personally, most of the projects out there are money grabs. I try to review the very best ones. Hopefully, you know, even myself, I can get caught off guard with some of these projects. Maybe they're not really trying to solve real problems.
Yeah, it's actually gotten to the point where people used to ask me, how do you do your research? And I used to be like, well, I look at the team, I look at the experience, maybe I look at the ICO, the tokenomics, the metrics. And now it's like, if I can't like have a Skype call with the CEO, I don't know if I want to touch it now. Like, that's literally how intense it's getting. Like, I have to physically talk to these guys. And I've been reaching out to all these different projects. And I mean, as far as the interviews and the stuff that I roll out on my channel, it's very selectively picked. It's not like I just throw a dart and talk to some people. You know what I mean? There's a reason that I speak with the people that I talk to on my channel. And although maybe today you may not understand why, I hope in a month or 2 months you do. Because my whole thing in this bear market was, well, what do I do? I'm obviously not going to make any money. Clearly, there's nothing going up. So I might as well do some research, talk to some projects. And these are not just ICOs. These are also projects that are established as well. I've been reaching out to many, many different projects. You know, obviously just because I don't do an interview every day doesn't mean I don't talk to people. You know what I'm saying? But I really am trying to reposition myself, especially for people that are watching. And I want to make sure that when this next run does come, because it will come. I don't care what you guys say. If you don't believe it, whatever, get off the channel. It's coming, okay? And when it does come, I want to make sure that we are positioned in the absolute best projects possible. That's my goal. That's my whole goal for this whole bear market.
I'm 100% agreement with you. It can be stressful, obviously, to see the market dip, but you know, Jeff, like you said, it is kind of nice to have this down period to focus on other things, to make content, to not be so focused on, you know, my portfolio. And that's exactly my plan, has been to keep my eye on what I want to buy, accumulate a little bit here and there. And because like you said, the bull market is coming back. We will have that rush. It's just a matter of when, and everybody just needs to be patient.
Yeah, I mean, and as for like making like monthly or short-term revenue within crypto, obviously if the strategy is buying coins and hoping they go up, then you're going to be living a stressful existence. So, I mean, that has, you know, personally never been the way I intended to pay rent or do anything like that. My investment strategy, as I hope I make clear on my channel, is, you know, really for me, it's sort of like a 1.5 to 3 to 5 year. But obviously I have coins that I'd be willing to play around with when they have huge influxes. But when I make real buys, I make buys in coins that I think are, you know, I want to hold on to for at least a year. And so, you know, it's, I guess, as far as like day-to-day money, you know, in this market, you've got to be relying, I guess, on other skill sets. I've sort of made it clear we have a few other businesses we run here, but it's the real thing for me is once this market, and I do believe this next bull run is going to be the one that they're going to equivocate to the 2001 or the 1999 stock. I don't think we hit the 1999 stock bubble one yet. I think we're about to approach it with the next run because we'll have the infrastructure finally. But regardless, I think that the next one is going to be where you're going to get your pets.coms. You're going to get your ones that are just so absurdly overpriced and obscene. And every project's going to boom for either malicious reasons as pump and dump groups or non-malicious reasons, and that they're great. And I think that oddly enough, it's kind of going to be like if you are invested pretty heavily on the next bull run, you're just going to be really far up. But again, I think what happened is a lot of the people in the space right now did come in November, December, in that post when the price was so overextended that they're going to be okay, but they're going to only see those real big green numbers once we actually see a reversal of this trend, and it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's those retail guys. They come in, they always come in late. They come in after everybody has already pretty much bought up all the good stuff. So it'll happen again. It'll happen again. It's funny because when that was happening, I had every single friend calling me up, guys I haven't spoke to since high school, coming out of the woodworks, family members I didn't even know I had suddenly want to be my friend again, ask me how they get involved in this old cryptocurrency, you know, shenanigans. And then, you know, it fell. And where'd everybody go? Where's everybody? They're not around. But you know, it's funny when it goes back up again, they'll be back. And then it's like, well, you know, I never left. So when I've been steady dollar cost averaging and accumulating all the way down, all the way back up, and you sold at a loss because you got afraid, and you know, it sucks because the problem is that this market is so easy for anyone to get into. Like literally anyone can get into this market. You know what I mean? Like a 13-year-old can like literally send some Bitcoin to an exchange, you know, get the 2 Bitcoin withdrawal from Binance and just start trading. So that's the problem when you know, the 13-year-olds are panic selling. So,
you know, when I started, I had 2 fusions of kind of capital into my portfolio. The first was last summer on a whim. I heard about Litecoin and Bitcoin. I actually heard about Bitcoin back in like 2011, but for whatever reason, I just never jumped in. I was in graduate school. But last year, I thought, well, why not? I'll just put some money in. And when December came around, those prices started to jump, and it just kind of piqued your curiosity. So I put another infusion of capital in back in December. And I can remember on the CryptoZombies Telegram group, man, February and March, those were some rough weeks, the whole community. But you know what? I've seen some maturity in our Telegram group. People know that we're in a period of potential price consolidation, and I can see the comments. You know, people are kind of catching on to, you know, this is just how crypto is, the volatility that you live in. So it's sort of like Bane living in the darkness in Dark Knight. It's sort of, you're born in the volatility. If you came in January, you'll be all that much better in 2019 when crypto goes on that bull run.
Dude, I started my channel in January. All I know is the bear market. If this market ever turns around, I don't even know what kind of content to put out. Like seriously, like I am like born for the bear market. Like my whole job is to like tell people like, you know, don't worry.
I'll copy the word moon and just paste it everywhere, and you'll get here's the thing. I put my money where my mouth is. Okay, so the truth is I don't claim to be any type of an expert trader. I don't have really any insider information. I wish I did, guys. I'm sorry, wrong channel. So the thing is I just do the best that I can, and I when I look into something, I consider would I tell my father to buy this? Would I tell my sister to buy this? Would I buy this? You know, so that's really all I do. And I just try to set myself up for that potential. And listen, we screw up, man. Nobody's perfect. You know, people think YouTubers like we're some kind of genius specimens that can just predict everything. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I mean, listen, like right now, like what are you guys looking at? You want to talk crypto? What kind of coins? What are you guys into right now? Talk about crypto?
Yeah, let's talk about crypto on the crypto show. What are you guys into right now?
I want to quickly just add before we change the topic that Jeff makes a good point about seeing maturity in the Telegram group. I think it also has to do with, you guys got to give yourself a little credit because obviously we're all relatively level-headed content creators, and I think that we sort of infuse that into the community with the people that hang out and talk to us and get information from us, and I think it's important that we do that because it does help other people find solace when you help educate people about things, what's going on about the truth, and not to freak out. That's important, and instead of listening to maybe other channels that people are hyping and then freaking out. And so that's good that you're seeing that, because that obviously means that whatever you're doing, KDubb, is you're doing it well.
Yeah, but I do thank you for that compliment. I appreciate that. But really, it's just time. I say this I've been saying this. I swear, if you go back to one of my earliest videos, I say time in the market is better than trying to time the market. And I still 100% agree on that, because the longer you're in it, the more you see these repetitions, these patterns. They repeat themselves over and over and over again. Oh, sorry, somebody just came in. So you see these patterns and they repeat themselves over and over again. And it's like okay, for me, seriously, I'm just going to be straight up with you. You guys know I was the biggest, I mean, I still love Neo, but man, did I love Neo when I first heard. I mean, I was like a Neo cult advocate, right? I mean, I was like literally almost 100% in Neo. And I remember when the China FUD came out and the price literally halved in like 2 days. I mean, can you imagine? You just lost in 2 days half of everything that you basically have, because keep in mind, I went all in. So when you deal with stuff like that, and then you deal with the China FUD, and then you deal with the Korea FUD, and then you deal with the freak out over the first Bitcoincash hard fork, you know, and then you deal with the second Korea FUD, you know, load the dip, Bogdanov, right? So after you live through that, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, you kind of don't really care anymore. You just laugh at it. Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, great, I'm down 75% again. Okay, let me come back in a week. Oh, it's up again. Hey, crypto, you know? So like I said, what I did over the weekend was you guys saw me. I went for a bike ride. I went to an art museum. I went out, had like a picnic. I just was like, screw this. I can't do this every day, you know? And I don't think it's good for you guys either watching, you know, everybody just take a break. It's fine. There's a whole world out there, man, you know? And I think that's the best thing you could do, because I know it's going up. I know, like, I just know it's going up. Like, when you talk to these guys with the blockchain tech, and I speak to these CEOs and developers, and you hear how passionate they are, and they're talking about, like, yeah, I mean, look at what they're telling you. IBM's doing it. Amazon is doing it. Google's doing it. You know, it's blockchain technology is not going anywhere, but 1,600 cryptocurrencies, a lot of them are not going to be around. That's just the facts. So
yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the price is until I see the Telegram mood. I can read the chatter. I'm like, oh, we must be dipping today, because everyone's hair is on fire on the channel.
Yeah, I get that too. In my Discord, I can see usually based on how people are talking what the price is.
Yeah, I personally think that as far as the amount of coins, I think they're going to dramatically expand, and I think there's room for many more thousands of coins and millions of coins in the eventuality. I see them sort of like websites and apps. And yes, there are so many that are useless, and there are very, very, very many, numerous that are very useful. And so it's just going to be a new layer of internet infrastructure. And you asked what I'm looking at most. I'm going to be getting more of Bitcoin and other big cryptocurrencies that I feel like are tremendous discounts. And to me, did I have a chance to get, the best price on Icon at wallet in January? No, of course not. I wasn't in the Icon ICO. So when it hit the market, when it bulled like crazy, it's like, did I get all the coins I wanted in the bull market? No, but in this crash, I can go and swoop up more of the coins that I feel like are the ones that are going to lead the decoupling, lead the sort of the charge of bringing blockchain to the mainstream. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, but I think that there's room for a lot more coins. But I always invest by sector. I approach it by sector. If you're going to look at a coin that needs AI to be a reality, for it to be a successful project, then you're going to be looking at what's the timetable on AI. And so, that's what you should be thinking about. If you're looking at a coin that's about tracking items through the shipping or logistics chains, then you're going to be looking at a much shorter timetable, because that's already pretty much implemented. So I think it's just a matter of, I go by sector always. And I think that just comes from just being a product guy, and I'm obsessed with product and human psychology using products. And that's sort of how I've always approached everything, which is, where's the human element? Where are the people?
Yeah, definitely. And also just realistically, just practically use cases. I mean, like, you have to actually use the damn thing, like, straight up. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could like have something that could like travel to Jupiter in 5 seconds. I mean, am I going to get in the ship and go? I don't know. Like, it has to have practical use cases. And I think that these projects that are coming out, for me, it's a lot more important to almost put the pressure on them, especially in like these interviews. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you're way too easy on these guys in interviews. it comes across that way. But the reason is because I've done a lot of research before I have them on. So I'm already confident in the project. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I really should really just ask them straight up, like, why are you better? Like, seriously, why are you better? You're the 10th AI platform that's come across this month. What the hell makes you better than all these other guys? Really, tell me. I'd like to know, because you know, I'm not trying to lose any more money. They're not trying to lose any more money. So yeah, I agree with you, man. But at some point, it's like enough is enough. Yeah, a billion tokens are great, but I mean, do I really need a barber token every time I want to get a haircut? Do I really need a TV token every time I want to watch Game of Thrones?
Well,
no, Dentacoin. We need that. That's necessary. We need that coin. But,
it's not about need. It's about, do you need a different app for every different restaurant? No, but that's the way that restaurant chose to do their app. And so it's just, if you want to use Shake Shack, then you'll go through it, and maybe the experience of using the Shake Shack app is nicer than using Uber Eats or Postmates. So it's just going to be about the ways in which it's all about the economy that people uses. And so the coin itself, to me, is almost like it's just a utility mechanism. It's a technology that can be applied.
It is a utility mechanism, but at the same time, the whole market concept of buying, trading, holding, that's going to just go out the window if every single person has their own token. Like, when in human existence have we ever had this many different ways to pay for things? We used to barter, but how many things did we used to consider necessary to barter? I don't know, food, water, shelter. You know, maybe you want to shack up with a nice, you know, but that's about it. I mean, really beyond that, what other things do you barter as a human being? So I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, but like, they're not going to have value. Like, for example, the Starbucks, this, that, they'll have their value, but this whole concept of just constantly trading on the markets, this and that, like, and these stable coins coming out at some point, like, okay, when I see all these, like, there's a thing called Bob's Repair now. It's an ICO, right? Bob's Repair. It's like repair work on the blockchain. My question is, why can't I just pay you in Ether? What's wrong with that? It already has an established value.
That's always my question for projects that I'm like, well, why a token? Why do you need a token for your platform?
Well, you're referring to currencies. Like, I think currencies are a sector, right? If you're looking at what's a current, like, why I believe that there will be dominant currencies for sure. I don't think that everything will be a currency. And cryptocurrency, I feel, is kind of a misnomer, because it assumes that all these coins are really supposed to be used as currency instead of representative of economies or value, really value. So it's like, oh, how many types of value are there? To me, it's almost infinite. So if you have coins representing different types of value, then there's, to me, it's an ever expansive. As far as what do I need as sort of a base holder as for currency, I think that there will be dominant currencies. I think you're looking at a few leaders with, I think Stellar's a great currency. I think it's going to be really successful. I think Bitcoin's a great currency. I think, but as far as what you're saying, should there be that many currencies? No, but will there be that many coins? I believe that the list will continue to grow and that they will continue to hold tremendous value depending on what they represent.
I agree.
About crypto, I define it as crypto assets. Cryptocurrencies is just one class of crypto assets, and so in this crypto journey, I really look at blockchain base layer protocols for now, and then at some point you have an oversaturation of these protocols, all offering similar but slightly differentiated features and operating system for these applications. The value is going to accrue to these base layer protocols. But because they're open source, there's an incentive to just simply fork, copy code, and you'll see a lot of these protocols build up over time. At some point, the applications will be built on top of it, and you will see those applications probably capture all the revenue, all the value. Someone will build the next Google, the next Facebook on top of these apps. So, you know, I almost primarily focus on blockchain investments. There are some interesting sectors that I think are cool, like decentralized key management, I think is really interesting. Wallet solutions, making this.
Oh no,
that was abrupt.
Oh my,
Bogdanov cut him off.
he knows too much. He knows too much. Dump him. Dump him from the chat. I hope Jeff comes back on. But
do you want to?
And that was the end of Jeff.
Somebody who's just like in my chat is asking us if we want to disclose our top 3 holdings.
Everybody knows my top holdings. It's Icon, Bitcoin, and Elastos. Those are my top 3 holdings. I mean, per percentage. I have a ton of small, but
yeah. Percentage for me, because I got in early. It's Blocknet. Well, it's Ethereum first, and then it's Blocknet, and then it's actually now, because I got a good price on it, was Zencash. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, I'm really heavily invested in ontology, and I'm really heavily invested in Icon, VeChain, all the supply chain cryptos. I'm really heavy in those, and anything that pays a dividend, you know.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I keep
those swell up in
actually,
value, so the dividend.
what's actually crazy is I'll tell you a mistake that I made. So I had this vision way back when Binance first came out. I bought the Binance token for $1.66. You guys, this was at like $15 right now or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And back then I understood the utility. I understood like this is going to be something that we're going to use, because the whole idea is if the token is being used, that's probably, I mean, it may not directly correlate with the increase in the value, but it probably will the more you're actually using it on the network. And the fact that the Binance token is actually used for 50% trading fees, it's used to accumulate percentages of trading, especially if you use your referral links and stuff like that. And that's why if I had to pick one exchange token personally that I'm looking at, Huobi token. I think Huobi token is the next big exchange token. I mean, if you, and Jeff, can you back me up on this? Because you recently have been looking into Huobi lately. I mean, tell me about some of the stuff. I mean, it sucks with the whole US citizen thing, but man, tell me about, they are cranking out so much in the background, man.
Yeah, Huobi feels like this giant octopus that has tentacles everywhere. They have Huobi Pro, Huobi, I sent this tweet out with all these different logos of what's happening at Huobi's. They're building an entire ecosystem. It feels to me that they have a grand overarching strategy, but as a business owner, I get concerned about focus. And Binance is sort of building, different sectors one by one, but Huobi's really trying to race to cover all the ground first. It's sort of these different logos. The camper who runs in, puts their tent on the best spot first, and then just waits for everyone to parade. And that's what I feel like Huobi's doing, as opposed to Binance.
I think there's definitely a friendly competition between Huobi and Binance, and whatever Binance does, Huobi will announce a version of it. And I think that they're both really phenomenal. What they're doing is providing infrastructure for the whole community, because they see, and I personally am of the belief that exchange tokens will hold value for now, but there will be so many exchanges in the near future that I would say that there's a proliferation of these abilities to buy and trade crypto. And I see that expanding in almost an exponential way. And so for me, I do love the exchange tokens, but I like even more the value that they're creating in the ecosystem by the Huobi blockchain, the Binance blockchain, the Binance $1 billion fund that they're distributing to VCs to help cultivate new projects. And I think that to me will be their lasting mark on the community, beyond being big exchanges for, their heyday, if you will. Binance is clearly in its heyday, and hopefully it lasts forever. But they're clearly making moves towards the decentralized world, because they already see the writing on the wall, in my humble opinion, as far as how long this whole game is really going to last in its centralized sort of current version.
I mean, we already have HADAX, though. HADAX is basically the decentralized Huobi in a sense of what Binance is trying to do, where they're not really, they're not having any regulation over which coin gets listed. There's no anything. And, CZ even came out as far as Binance was concerned, and he was like, yeah, we'll open up a DEX, but if you guys get scammed, if these coins come out, we're basically not responsible. And also, to add on top of that fact, I agree with you that eventually it will get decoupled and there will become all these different exchanges. I do agree with that. However, you can't deny liquidity. And in the end, liquidity wins. So if you have 200, 300, 400 DEXs, great, we're totally decentralized. I'm still going to trade on Binance, because I don't want to sit there and have to keep refreshing or waiting so that I could send 5% of my order in. I don't want to crash the order book, right? And I also don't want to pump my order up so high that the next guy just crashes it back down on my purchase. So, I may not be using the accurate terminology, but you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm going where the liquidity is, because I've held tokens before that on paper they looked freaking amazing. I was like, yo, this is gonna be great. When to sell them? Nobody's buying. Yeah. I can't even sell the damn thing.
And the DEX world is necessarily gonna evolve. And your liquidity is quite right now, and liquidity and the ability to have a user, going back to user experience, use case, it's not a great user experience use case right now, and it's only really useful when you are going after some coin that for some reason you can't get on the exchanges that you have access to. And so it's a very limited use case right now, but increasingly it's going to become hopefully a very parallel experience.
Let me give you an example of a coin, since I'm apparently I want to talk about coins and projects because this is what I love. So I have been looking into NKN recently. It's one of my top projects I've been looking into. Yonobo Lee. Look at his connections: on-chain, Jun Lee, Dahong Fei, Neo, Ontology. I mean, I don't need to like spell this out, okay? This coin is sitting well below $100 million market cap. It's literally only on Gate.io and Switch.io, which I think the last time I checked, the overall volume was less than $10,000. Mm-hmm. So, and I can't even get in Gate.io because I'm a US citizen. So like, do you know how much it sucks to watch the price of something go up and I can't own it? I've been eyeing NKN since it was like 22, 23, right? And now it's up to like, I think 28. And I'm just sitting here like, well, I can't get involved. So I see your point with the centralization. I do see that because look at that. I can't get in. I can't trade. That's not right. But at the same time, look at the DEX. There's no liquidity. We have to marry these two components together. We have to find a middle ground. Because obviously centralization isn't working, and decentralization, it works in the beginning when everybody's like IDEX, the IDEX gems, right? When everybody was buying Zebi, when everybody was buying Holochain, when everybody was buying, I don't know, Nexo, pick your gem of the week, right? Now try to sell the damn thing. No one's buying.
I think of all the decentralized exchange sort of molds that I think are going to be most successful, I think Stellar Lumen is really bringing the most as far as solving the biggest question by having liquidity anchors. And that's been one of their first and primary objectives, is bringing in the necessary liquidity to make decentralized exchange both fluid, instant and user friendly and available to almost any type of asset. They really see Stellar as morphing. They literally use the example, if you want to hold sheep and want to pay for it in your sheep coin, and someone with a liquidity anchor accepts that they can then go through the network and translate your sheep coin into Google stock or whatever value holder, they want to be able to let you hold that and pay and you live through that value holder. So I think from a DEX standpoint, I'm really excited to see the evolution of Stellar. I think right now the user friendly aspect of it, we've actually built certain things on Stellar internally on the team, and the sort of experience is extremely poor. But it's, again, these things evolve, and I think that the liquidity aspect is being solved mostly by place. I think Binance will approach that problem. I think Stellar, Ripple, I think eventually will come out with liquidity solutions for more of your average person. But I don't like to throw out Ripple because it's got such a connotation, and now we're seeing that they're having some trouble with their test pilot use cases. But in the end, as far as liquidity anchors, I think that that's definitely going to be something that is more of a, that's going to get solved. I think it's going to get solved.
I would make two comments. The first is for exchanges. What is the utility of an exchange token? There's really two instances. One, discount on trading fees, and two, it's a treasury function for the exchange. So they can use their tokens, flip them, and pay for operations. Do I think that's the long-term goal of exchange tokens and value for the average holder? I think fragmentation of exchanges is likely to happen and continue happening. So how do you manage a wallet of just exchange tokens for where you trade? I think you're likely to see a cross-exchange platform that is the guts of any exchange out there. If you're thinking of building an exchange, you might use this white labeled service, and that would be the kind of cross-chain, cross-exchange service. So I know a few projects are approaching this. I can't name names at the moment, but I think the long-term future of exchanges is really connecting the webs and the dots between all these different fragmented exchanges, and the tokens are really used to move liquidity or provide different end makers to the exchange. So for example, if you're an exchange, if you're a token you want to get listed, maybe you buy this token. If you're a market maker, a liquidity provider, you would use this token. If you're a developer,
how do you think Stellar approaches that concept that you're talking about? Because they're obviously not a DEX. They allow you a white label solution to create DEXs. So do you think that approaches in a sense what you're explaining?
Personally, I think anyone that builds an SDK or a tool that anyone else can then port into their application, and exchanges are going to be around whether they're decentralized or centralized, and not everyone wants to reinvent the wheel. So maybe they find some off-the-shelf parts And those tokens are what hold the entire infrastructure together. So whether it's Stellar and the tools they build around it, it's certainly a good solution.
Well, Stellar's white label solution is live already. Their DEX white label solution. So, and their liquidity anchors are in action. So I'd encourage all you to check out what Stellar's doing as far as pushing decentralized exchange. One of the reasons I'm so bullish on them.
KDubb, why are you smirking over there?
Oh, it's not quite live. Maybe it's not quite live on the white label solution.
Oh, no. I'm just laughing because I love reading my comments personally. So I have just as much fun reading what people write as listening to you guys. I unfortunately, to everybody out there, if I'm not responding to your comments, I am reading what you guys are writing, and I'm taking very, very strong mental note of it. I just don't want to interrupt people. So thank you for everybody that's on the chat. Just want to say I love you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm doing the same. I'm reading, but I'm typing back to everybody as usual. I'm multitasking.
Oh, see, I don't do that. I should do that, but mine is going to show up on my screen. So I saw somebody in here, I forget who it was, way back up. And if you're still watching, you can chime back in. But somebody said that they work a full-time job. They're a landscaper. I don't remember who it was, and they said that they listen to me in their headphones. And I got to tell you, dude, that's my story. So, yo, man, if I could do it, you could do it. So, you know,
that's real life inspiration. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's like I said, that's the beauty of Bitcoin. I've said this from the beginning, and it sounds really corny when you kind of say it out loud. But like Bitcoin and crypto, like this is gonna be like my really corny moment. Give me like 10 seconds. It doesn't care what you look like, who you are, if you're a guy, a girl, what color skin you are, what country you live in. Crypto doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like anyone can get involved and anyone can do well. If you unfortunately, do your research, et cetera, you guys know. So anyway, go on. I'm done.
No, you make a good point. I actually had, I was doing a live stream once, but I think it was by myself originally. And some girl came in and she's like, I'm a dietitian and I got into crypto. And I'm like, what? What are the odds? I'm like, I'm a dietitian and I got into crypto. So it's funny to see like when you kind of find yourself in other people through this whole spiel, definitely makes for a more interesting environment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a developer or a coder or anything. I'm an enthusiast. I'm just a kid that used to play Nintendo when I used to come home. I used to beat Super Mario and, get the latest gadgets, and that's all I ever did. So for me, this is just the most awesome playground of tech as a grown adult that I've ever had the opportunity to look into. And for me, yeah, I mean, I want to get rich, but I could dive into this stuff forever. People will probably watch my channel and then not care and unfollow me, and I'll still be interested just because that's my type of personality. I just really love progression. It doesn't have to be blockchain. It just happens to be blockchain right now. Blockchain's the big thing right now, We could be having the same discussion 5 years from now. We could be talking about Hashgraph, or we could be talking about block lattice, or something that we don't even know yet. You know what I mean?
Most likely.
So for me, it doesn't matter. There's always another opportunity. If you bought too high and you lost your money, well, chill and wait for the next big thing. I hate to put it that way, but look at people. We're never happy.
Instant gratification.
Elio, way back in the beginning, what were you talking about? You were talking about, did we really need it, right? I remember a time when it was like, just make sure that you have some quarters in your pocket so that you can go to the payphone in case of an emergency, right? Then it was make sure that you have your pager on the side of your belt. So if mom pages you at dinner, you can then go to the pay. And now it's like, if I don't have my freaking smartphone, I lost, right? So
I can't do anything.
Right, exactly. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be so much more. Don't worry about it. If you made a bad trade, if you screwed up, there's 100 more coming your way. So.
Yeah, and the enthusiasm for the space, I think, is what always separated this. I got into this, I think everyone got into it probably primarily thinking of it as an investment vehicle. And then you start to, for me, just learning about the implications of blockchain was why I wouldn't have started making content if I didn't think that there was something really a lot bigger than just hey guys, come over here and we'll make you some money. Yeah, it's just there's just so many ways to make money, and people talking about making money has just really never been something that I find entertaining. And at its core, I think you guys, you all do a great job of, I try to focus primarily on making things entertaining, because I think it's so important to understand that if you want someone to listen at all, you need to put it in a context they can hear it. And so we're just in such a overly stimulated world that if you don't package something, then it's like, how can I even expect someone to listen? So, you know, and yeah, we are making content, we are making it, but in the end, it is the technology that drives the interest and the enthusiasm for that technology that will keep us in the space and will prevent people from really getting rid of their holdings out. After a while, there's a big enough community that believe in the future of this, that they will see it as an opportunity to buy after a certain price point is hit. And that's where you'll see the prices continue to go up.
Well, you know, what they say, the saying is knowledge is power, right? And so I agree with you in showing people or educating people in a way that they hear you, which is part of the reason I created the channel, is because I always said when I first got into crypto, I have no tech background. I'm not a computer whiz. I'm just an average person who happened to come across cryptocurrency and was interested. And there was no like unbiased information that was just, you know, not crazy tech heavy, just information about the project, what their goals are, what they're doing, what to look forward to in the future. And that's all I wanted. So that's why I created the channel. And then, you know, everything else kind of just snowballs. And, you know, not to be cliche, but obviously everything happens for a reason, because it seems that like we've all made these connections and we're all doing these good things and we're trying to help benefit the community. But it's definitely important to make content interesting and easy for people to digest, because it's definitely, there's more than enough confusing stuff in this space already. So it's nice to be able to give content that people can learn from.
So I have a business and technology background. And so my whole site is focused around taking the complex and making it simple, living between that business world and that technology world. And how do you distill that information and explain it to someone else, and then graduate them up to a level where we can start talking a little bit more about the business or the technology. At some point, I'm a little bit out of my depth, but I focus on what is the bullseye? What is the long term? What are we looking for? We're trying to build applications that people will use and replace what's already out there and retain their value. When I think about the ultimate killer decentralized application, I keep thinking it's Bitcoin. You know, if I go to Venezuela and I'm holding, you know, the local currency, I'd rather have Bitcoin than a currency that's going to be devalued. And so when I think about real world use case, some of these technologies, I mean, they're experimental. That's why you probably should right size your adjustment, right size your investment, because it's highly speculative. When it comes to Bitcoin, I mean, the thing would have, if it was useless, it would have died by now, and it's still around. So I do think something else is going to emerge. I don't know what that number 2 is. It might be Ethereum as an ICO vehicle, but at some point something else has to come along. And so that's why you keep studying, keep learning, and channels like, you know, all of ours or my own website. You know, hopefully you come and you learn something and join the conversation, because we don't know everything either. I always find little tidbits from the community, and they send me off on a really cool treasure hunt every single day.
Yeah, it goes back to what you're saying. I mean, Ethereum was not meant to be used, and I bring this word, it wasn't meant to be a currency. It's never meant to be a currency. It is a vehicle for raising technology, money to build new technology. That was what set it off. Oh, we now can raise money from the world for a venture without having to go through the hoops that we previously have. And if anyone watching has raised venture capital like I have, I can assure you it is fun. It's not fun. It's fun. It's not fun. It's horrible. It's insane. They look through your whole life. It takes months and months and months and months and months. You end up paying the piper on a bunch of people who don't necessarily benefit your project to get the funding you need, introductions, blah, 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 blah. There is a system that was kind of fundamentally broken, but was Ethereum meant to be used to pay for coffee? No, I don't think that was ever its intention. And so I think, you know, Bitcoin, you know, I think a lot of people would imagine it could be used to, in the proverbial sense, be used to pay for coffee. But, you know, and do I think that eventually with, you know, the infrastructure we're building, I hope that we approach that very soon, that you could use Bitcoin for small purchases, micro purchases. And I think that that's a reality we'll see soon. And once we see that, yeah, it might be a very well that other currencies are kind of unnecessary. I still think that there would be more, but then there would just, what is the point of this? Is this currency like Stellar? I think they're focusing a lot on decentralized exchange and facilitation of liquidity. That's not really what Bitcoin's focusing on. And so it's about use case, focus, utility. And I think that, you know, when people start to really understand these investments on a core level, which is, you know, what we do, I think all great job of is trying to say, hey, here's what this is actually trying to do. And all the buzzwords aside, this is what it's going to do, and this is why it's important. And I think when people get a taste of the actual importance, the actual utility, that's when they can start saying, oh, I get why this is different. I get why this is valuable. And I get why I should hold both. And that one's not going to kill or eat the other.
Yeah, my girlfriend got into a car accident. A random tire just came off the side of the road. We literally have no idea where it came from. Wheel attached, completely destroyed the car. The car got totaled. So obviously having insurance, they sent the check. So they reimbursed her with the check. So they sent it to her, and it took, I think, like 3 days to clear, right? Now, people complain that Bitcoin takes too long because it's 10 minutes. It took 3 days to get the money from the insurance that's supposed to cover the car so that we can get another car so that we can get to our job. But Bitcoin's too slow because it takes 10 minutes? Tell that to the Venezuelans. Seriously. That's all I have to say about that. So that's my two satoshis.
You scared me. I thought you meant like at this exact moment. Yeah.
What's actually funny is I started talking about my girlfriend getting into a car accident, and I actually had viewers drop off. This is too horrifying. Like, these markets are bad, but car crashes now. Like, you've gone too far, kid. So I don't know.
Stick to me losing half my portfolio, please.
Yeah. Wait,
what's actually funny to me is the total change of conversation between the way we used to talk when the markets were going up versus the conversations that we have during these bear markets. We focus on completely different things, and it's just so funny because in the end, like I think Alex said it at the very beginning, is the tech doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's the same. You wake up tomorrow, Bitcoin's not like a different Bitcoin. It's just a different price. So.
Yeah, it's a different price, and the market sentiment is different, so that's the problem.
Yeah, but I guess what drives me is seeing. I do think the tech is getting day by day better, and I think that that's the story that I'm trying to portray. And the more that we portray that story, the more we can explain. Okay, yeah, gold has a value, but is gold more useful today than it was a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago? Is Bitcoin more useful today than before SegWit, or is it less useful? Is it going to be more useful after Lightning Network? So it's just a matter of, and obviously there are debates as to like how Bitcoin should have evolved. And I don't want to bring that up, but essentially it's just, and of course I did, but in the end, the value of these assets is increasing. So it's sort of the actual utility and what they do. So I think that's sort of the story that we need to keep explaining. And that's why we do news.
What's interesting is I was actually speaking to a CEO today, which I suppose I could say the project, but I don't want to because it might come across as a shill. But I was speaking to a particular CEO today. You guys will probably find out soon enough. And he was telling me that what's ironic is a lot of the projects that came out last year that were claiming to do all these things, they can't actually do that until now, because only until recently have projects actually developed the tech that these guys last year were claiming that they would be able to do. So I agree with you in that sense, Elio, is that the tech is a lot better. It is. I mean, because you know what it is? Before it was kind of this thing like, oh, maybe blockchain will make things easier. Maybe it'll be cool to have things on a distributed ledger. Screw the banks. Let's have Bitcoin. But the amount of attention and just focus on blockchain products in general, solutions, it's astronomical right now, man. I mean, the space is so big. And there actually have been some really amazing developments. I know I'm being very like elusive to them right now, but tell us. It's not the right time. I don't really want to talk about projects in bear markets. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, just watch the channel. We'll be unveiling some pretty cool stuff. So, sure. So let's talk about let's talk about what I'm buying. So actually, seriously, guys, if I could buy one thing right now, and I'm not shilling it because I literally don't own it because I can't, I would buy NKN.
I actually was just going to interrupt you quickly, KDubb. I thought when you said Gate.io, I have an account on there.
And how did you, yeah, but but ever since they did that, now they put the KYC in.
I just signed in. I'm on the account now. I signed in out of curiosity, so I don't know. I made it ages ago.
I heard that you have to provide KYC to withdraw. I don't know. This is a very awkward conversation to be having live right now. Like, can we legally get the?
Well, it can't be illegal because I'm already on it. So, but I'll mess with it.
If anybody out there in YouTube world wants to help me buy some NKN, hit me up. I would like to purchase some, but I don't know how to do it because I just have no access. So
I got a guy in the corner.
You guys got any more of that cheap NKN?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, the infrastructure plays are definitely, I think, going to be the, the proverbial, everyone likes to make the Google reference. And I think people forget that there were in excess of 20 search engines that were very popular at the time that Google came out. And it was a weird mix of factors. They had a great algorithm. They had a minimalist approach. You could argue this, you could argue that. In the end, it's sort of like when things are so cheap right now. And I would argue that I honestly believe, and I tell my followers, I don't think they like hearing this, but I think over time, I think I like to think my channel is a source of credibility for all the businesses I run in the space. And I do believe we're going much, much lower, hopefully not too much lower, but I think we have a little bit ways to go on this dip. And I think things are going to become extremely appetizing, and infrastructure plays are huge. And one of those is going to be one of these main infrastructure pieces that ends up fueling so many use cases. So I think from that perspective, like looking at infrastructure plays and trying to get in on them with the dip prices is definitely something I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, I definitely picked up in this most recent dip. I picked up more Icon and VeChain and Elastos, so I was pretty happy with those.
Those are all good projects. VeChain is phenomenal. I unfortunately don't actually own any VeChain, and I say that shamefully. I say that with a whole heart of shame. It's just you ever just see a project where and I cover the damn coin like every
and that's
day.
fine. I'm always like, wow, that's such a great project, and I don't own any of it.
But you know what though? That's the thing. Like, okay, I don't have to own projects to like them. It's like, totally. Oh, you're shilling because you own it. Oh, you're shilling because you don't own it. No, I just talk about things I like. I think VeChain's a phenomenal project. I'm not invested in it. Doesn't change my perception of it whatsoever. I still think it's a great project. I think anyone that's in it, you'll do just fine. It's just there's only so much cheddar to go around, as Crypto Lark would say. I only got so much. So
yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. Got to prioritize.
I haven't touched anything, to be honest. I've just been writing and scheduling interviews. And
I know that feeling.
You have zero crypto investments?
I haven't bought anything. I've just been sitting on my position for weeks.
Okay. You mean in the dip?
I thought
you meant like okay. I was like, you don't own crypto. That's novel.
No, that's insane.
No, I didn't trade it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've basically been doing the same as well. Like I said, I do have I do have some income on the side, in the real world. So I do buy on these dips. Not a lot, you got to still live, but I do buy on the dips. So I always buy on the dips. You can't go wrong if it's a good project. If it's a shit project, then whatever. But if it's a good project, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. This is accumulation. The thing is like everybody wants it to go up, but here's the situation, okay? You have the opportunity to dollar cost average. So you figure we've been in this bear market now for, I'd say, almost 6 months we're going on in a way, And the thing is if it had gone up instantly, everybody would be celebrating. But if you put $100 in, it goes up $5. You got $500, right? But if you've had time to accumulate and you have $500 in, and then it goes up $5, well, now you got $2,500, right? So I think that people should appreciate the bear market as much as they hate it, because once this opportunity's gone, it's gone. So embrace it while it's here, because it won't be here forever. History is going to repeat itself like it always does.
Yeah, it's the blessing in disguise is this dip. And I would have so loved for things to keep bulling so that, the mining profits and all the other things I was involved in would just be like, whoa, look at the numbers. But in the end, we've persevered. And I wholeheartedly believe that this dip is going to be the thing I look back at as one of the single greatest things that allowed me to accumulate so many more of the coins that I knew the writing was on the wall. Look at all the partnerships, the development, the engine behind these are so big and only growing stronger and stronger. And now I get to buy more at more discounts and more. So it's sort of like one of those ironic, like, oh yeah, I want it to go blast off. So everyone goes, oh, let's go follow all these channels. And we get, so many more viewers and more, and we get to look at Blockfolio going through the roof. But that sort of satisfaction is obviously going to be all that sweeter, having persevered and understood the tech deeply and invested in great projects based on that deep understanding. And buy more VeChain, KDubb.
We also want a healthy, sustainable market, and we can't expect it to just be moon all the time. These ridiculous returns, it's just not realistic. At some point, there has to be a pullback, and this has been a good, healthy pullback, and we're at a situation that, sure, prices are great for buying, and some people are definitely not happy with where their portfolio might be looking, but it's necessary. That's what it comes down to. It's the nature of things. So it's going to happen and it's going to come back and everybody will be just fine in a couple months.
Absolutely. So there's been so many people talking about so many projects on my side, but I've kind of been letting it slide. Although I have to say at some point, man, I love you guys, but I got to do like a one-on-one with my audience, man. I love my subscribers so much, and I feel like I don't get to answer their questions.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Well, I mean, everybody's talking about, Neblio, Walton Chain. These are all really great projects. I love what Walton's doing. I don't see Walton as a competitor to VeChain. I think they're doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of two blockchains that can live in harmony. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. So I've been it's been about an hour for me. It's kind of late. I actually think I got to get going. I don't. If you guys want to keep it going.
No, I was about to segue out to I'm shot.
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody out there that's been watching, I understand it's a bear market. I mean, listen, I know we all want to watch, live streams and videos that are just going to give you the secret elixir to life. In the end, we're all in this together. I'll tell you what, I'm busting my ass right now. I'm doing research like I've never done before. I know Jeff is doing crazy research right now. Like we've been in contact, we've been talking with each other, and I'm actually hoping that some of these ICOs that are coming out, we're really trying to sift through the crap and find the few gems that are there, because in reality, everybody knows the best is the one. Getting in early is key in anything. It doesn't have to be the ICO. If you want to buy on exchange, fine, be the first guy to buy on exchange, sure. But you got to get in early. And the only way you're going to know which ones are the ones that are worth getting in is by doing the research and putting in the effort. And I've really been focusing on that in this bear market. And I can't wait to share basically what I've been looking at recently. So that's my goal. I want to help people make money. I really do. I don't want these people that got involved in January and February to just up and leave. I want them to really understand the potential and the power of this. And, if that has to become my mission over the next course of the year, then so be it. So that's my stance.
KDubb for president.
Yes, we can. So before we go, I just want to say, if you're in San Francisco next week, KDubb and I are actually going to be there. So if you're in the area, we could try to find some time to connect.
Yeah, we'll be in San Jose for the Blockchain Connect conference. If you guys actually go on my channel, I have a 30% discount if you guys want to use it. Yeah, just if you don't, fine, pay full price. I don't care. Anyway, so, but I really hope to see you guys. I'd love to see you guys out there. It'd be really awesome. So I love you guys. I love you. Stay crypto, blah, 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 blah. See you tomorrow. You guys are amazing. Everyone on this channel, you all do such a great job. Wonderful reviews, wonderful news. Jeff, you're the man. I don't know. Jeff doesn't have a YouTube channel. That's why. But Jeff, I mean, this guy, he's in the trenches, man. And he's got a day job too, like Candor. And this guy, the amount of time he puts into researching is just, it's really incredible. So, and Elio, love you,
We got
dude.
good peeps.
Love the news.
Thanks so much, guys. It's been amazing. FUD Nation, love you guys. I'll see you very soon.
See you later.